Welcome to another edition of the FOX54 Weekend Review. It's the place where you can get a week's worth of local news stories in under an hour. I'm Kenesha Dees. Here's just some of the stories coming your way this weekend. Water mains have been bursting around Huntsville and Madison in recent weeks. We asked utility experts why it's happening. A brand new emergency room opened its doors to the Madison County community. You'll learn what sets this medical facility apart from the rest. And this Decatur teen is looking dapper in a suit made out of duct tape. That's right. Why'd he do such a thing? Stick around for the answer to that question. As we rewind the clock back to Friday, we start with a frightening scene. A garbage truck plows into a Madison resident's home. A mangled mess at a Madison home. First responders left wondering what went wrong after a sanitation truck plowed into it. Our Ken McCoy spoke with the fire department and has the details.
On the corner of Grayson Avenue and Sullivan Street.
Sure, at 11:04 this morning, one of our fire inspectors noticed this trash truck that was moving erratically.
A home in shambles after a sanitation truck crashed into it.
The trash truck came off the road, hit three unoccupied vehicles en route to that home there. So the only person that was involved in the incident was the trash truck driver. No one was in the home. There were 4 dogs in the house and we were able to rescue them. Later, both police and fire were on the scene. And 15 minutes later, we had done a good thorough assessment and search of the structure and had extricated the driver from there. And then he is now at one of the hospitals.
Madison County Fire Chief David Bailey shares it's unclear what caused the crash.
Don't know whether it was mechanical or don't know what the cause of that was, but he did not hit any other occupied vehicles, which was a good thing. And he actually was awake and oriented when he left the scene, which is also a good indication.
And now the next steps.
There's going to have to be a stabilization of the house that occurs. We may be helping with that, or a private company may be helping with that. And as part of the investigation, and then they'll move forward from that.
No one was inside the residence at the time of the crash, but the owner's 4 dogs were rescued.
So the only person that was involved in the incident was the trash truck driver. No one was in the home. There were 4 dogs in the house and we were able to rescue them. The homeowners were not at home, and they are en route here now to take care of their animals and also to obviously start working on house repairs.
In Madison, Ken McCoy, FOX54 News.
And we've learned that State Senator Garland Gudger of Coleman is now in the ICU. It's after a reported jet ski accident on Smith Lake. The Alabama State Senate says Gudger underwent surgery for internal bleeding and other injuries after the jet ski he was riding on was struck by a jet ski his son was driving yesterday. The crash caused both men to be thrown into the water. The senator was airlifted to UAB for treatment. His son was checked by local EMS and did not need any medical treatment. Now, Senator Gudger's wife, Heather, sharing in part, quote, "Everyone who knows Garland is aware that he is a strong, tough, and energetic man who will recover from these injuries and continue serving the citizens of his district while promoting the conservative Alabama values that so many of us hold close," end quote. And we've mentioned before, for most of you parents, school starts next month for your kids and they'll need school supplies. Our Gabe Glassman spoke to organizers about how you can help or benefit from their Stuff the Bus event this weekend.
As a youth, I didn't have these type of resources, and I always told myself if I ever got in a position where I could help other young people, intentionally become successful instead of by accidentally becoming successful.
Huntsville Utilities Vice President of Employee Engagement, Harry Hobbs, says it's something he's always wanted to do, even since before he created the campaign in 2011.
This is a big pinnacle event here in North Alabama to show the youth that we care about their success.
The 13th annual Stuff the Bus event is here. Buses will be parked at several drop-off sites where anyone can donate school supplies for kids to use for this upcoming year and beyond.
We provide school bags with supplies. We provide networking. We set up the 4 pillars of success at the annual event in health, education, careers, and finances.
The event allows for the North Alabama region to come together and support kids.
This is North Alabama. We love trying to work together and give back, and we want to give back to these youth so they can go back to school with the needed supplies and with that feeling that this community wants them to succeed.
This event impacts thousands of children, according to officials, but it also brings the community together with a goal to break barriers.
We just want to have a kumbaya moment. It allows us to come together, to drop the political divide, to drop whatever our ideologies are, because one thing we can all agree on is we love our children, we love North Alabama, and we want everyone to get a job and succeed.
The Back to School Supply giveaway will happen on Saturday, July 13th. To find out more, visit our website, FOX54.com. In Huntsville, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
It's nothing like a fresh hairdo to build your kids' confidence before heading back to school. And parents, it's time to start thinking ahead, but we've got you covered. Nonprofit group CNI Solutions will soon host its Back to School Braidathon. It's July 28th. Styles include haircuts, braids, and lock retwists. And guess what? It's free for kids from grades 6 to 12. Organizers believe it's about ensuring they are well prepared and confident for the new school year.
We plan on having backpack giveaways. We're planning on having events and games out there for the kids as well while they're waiting to get their hairstyle, braid, cut, or lock retwist done. This would be one less burden that they would have to deal with, and this is our way of giving back to try to help those parents out.
Absolutely. Well, the Braidathon will be at the Robert Bob Harrison Wellness and Advocacy Center. It's from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and you can make an appointment starting July 16th. Visit our website on FOX54.com for details on how to reserve your spot.
Huntsville City FC will need its third head coach this season. Good evening and welcome to sports. HCFC has announced that following their road game on July 10th, interim head coach Christoph Barra will depart from the team. The club told Fox 54 that Barra is leaving for family reasons and was not fired. Barra became the interim head coach on April 9th following the firing of Jack Collison. Under his direction, HCFC won just 2 of its 13 matches, picking up 8 total points in the standings. The club sits in dead last place in the league. Per Nashville SC Communications, newly appointed parent club manager B.J. Callahan, as well as general manager Mike Jacobs, will, quote, support the identification of Huntsville City FC's next coaching staff. The boys in blue will face off with New England Revolution 2 in the final game of the Christoph Barra era.
Well, in 2021, medical marijuana became legal in the state of Alabama. Fast forward to 2024, the process to get the business side up and running has hit several setbacks due to ongoing legal battles. And the latest ruling out of Montgomery on Tuesday will add more months to the process. Take a look.
Nothing we've seen in the investigative hearing process satisfies the Administrative Procedure Act.
Ongoing litigation continues to slow the progress on the distribution of medical cannabis in Alabama.
And frankly, that's why this process has taken so long. The Commission has never followed the Administrative Procedure Act, ever. And what I heard in there today was they're not going to follow it going forward.
Tuesday, Judge James Anderson denied the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission's motion to dismiss Alabama Always' newest complaint.
We filed a motion for a temporary restraining order. The Commission filed a motion to dismiss our complaint. The judge said he's going to deny the motion to dismiss and grant our motion for a temporary restraining order. He said he also was inclined to grant us some discovery relative to True Leave, one of the applicants. So we think that's a good start on getting some discovery.
The basis behind these disputes is the Compassion Act, enacted by the Alabama legislature over 3 years ago, with the goal of providing access to medical cannabis for patients suffering from a variety of illnesses. The implementation of this act has been overshadowed by the continuous round of legal battles. But Somerville says it's the commission holding up the process.
I'm trying to move this thing forward. The commission is the one who asked for the stay. You heard that. Who is trying to delay the process? It's the commission that's trying to delay the process. They'll tell you, well, we want to get cannabis to the patients and help the children and all that kind of stuff. The real words that came out of their mouth today is they want to stay this process.
And what they are fighting for is more fairness in the process.
They need to make it so that the applicants can challenge each other's qualifications, okay? Just to put it in the simplest terms possible. If I think that so-and-so who got a license isn't qualified to get a license, I should be able to point that out. Until we're in a position where that can happen, this is never going to get resolved. I think the commission has shown thus far that it's not going to enforce the requirements of the statute. It's up to the applicants to keep each other honest and make sure that the other applicants follow the requirements of the statute.
Since Wednesday, many of the best table tennis players that the United States has to offer have been in Huntsville for the 2024 National Table Tennis Championships. Those athletes have included the U.S. Olympic table tennis team, who will compete at the Paris Games, which start at the end of this month. And today, the Olympians received a send-off Rocket City style. Each member of the team received a spacesuit donned with their last name, plus NASA and Apollo mission patches. And before the ceremony, we had the chance to catch up with one of the Olympians.
Yeah, the U.S. Nationals, it's a really special event for myself. I played it since I was 8 years old, and the last few years I haven't been able to play it. So it's a special event for me in general, and even more perfect this time around that it's right before the Paris Games, so I'm kind of using it as a step-up tournament before Paris, and hopefully can build some momentum from here going into Paris as well.
We start tonight here in Huntsville, where the city that prides itself on being modern deals with the topic for the modern metropolis. Accessory dwelling units, or living quarters separate from the main residence on a property, are common. Maybe it's used by an elderly relative who moved back in with their family, or a local college student who is renting close to campus. But the city of Huntsville is considering the cause and effect of allowing ADUs.
Back in May, the City of Huntsville's Planning Commission passed an amendment to City Code that allowed for accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, behind the main house on residential property, like a renovated garage, for example. The amendment was pulled from last month's Huntsville City Council agenda, but the topic could return to discussion soon. Bill Kling, Huntsville City Council member for District 4, says a vote to set a public hearing date could come as soon as the next City Council meeting on Thursday, July 11th.
Basically, what they are doing is making a recommendation to the City Council. Now, I haven't seen the paperwork. I've heard some stuff secondhand. It's an ongoing process, and we'll see how this whole process pans out.
Klink says he isn't 100% firm on how he'd vote on the amendment just yet, were it to be proposed, but he's leaning against it as of now.
I want to do my homework, study it. At this point, based upon what I'm hearing, and I think there's been some logic in the arguments, I would be leaning against, but again, a final decision has not been made.
Proponents of ADUs say it can address the city's housing affordability problem. Were a comment session to be approved, a date would be set for about 4 weeks out, and then after the public input session, would the City Council take action?
People who live in the neighborhoods, they know firsthand the impact something would have, and again, we learn from them, and they give us a lot better advice than the best consultants in the world do.
The third-party review into the Decatur Police Department is underway. Our Simon Williams was at the Decatur City Council meeting tonight and has more.
Monday's Decatur City Council meeting was the first chance for the public to address their representatives since pen has been put to paper on the third-party review into the Decatur Police Department. Community advocates say it's been one of the biggest steps forward in justice for Steve Perkins.
We're working together.
That's right.
And together we're going to get it done.
For the community, it's important that we can have someone come in and get real information on how our police department functions with their behavior, their culture. That's important, especially after the last 9 months what the citizens have had to deal with.
Decatur City Council President Jacob Ladner committed to transparency with the review as long as it's legal.
When it's all over, they're going to produce a final report that'll be very lengthy. It will have to be looked at by legal. Anything that we're allowed by law to give to the public, we will.
While community advocates are pleased with the review, their work is far from over. Attention has turned to continuing to question Decatur City and Decatur Police's ability to investigate the now newly retired DPD Lieutenant Joe Renshaw, the man who has numerous formal complaints against him for his use of force while on patrol. Renshaw was also the cop who admitted during a May gag order hearing that he used a fake Facebook account to harass Decatur residents online.
They shouldn't be able to just retire. They should have some disciplinary action that the community should have been told about, because what keeps them from going somewhere else, getting hired, and doing it to someone else? Renshaw is not a good cop, and what he did on Third Friday showed that.
The council meets again next Monday, July 15th at 10 a.m. Also added to the schedule is a personnel board hearing set for 8:30 a.m. on July 25th at Fort Decatur Recreation Center.
Teachers are increasingly reaching into their own pockets to resupply their classrooms before each new school year. It's been the mission for a local organization to lighten that load, and now for the 13th year, Free to Teach has its doors open for Madison City, County, and Huntsville teachers. Our Jasmine Bird gives us a peek inside.
Well, it's about that time for teachers to start picking up those school supplies for this upcoming school year. Things like your books and your pencils are very important. There's so many other supplies that teachers do need throughout the school year. And there's one nonprofit organization that's helping make a world of difference. That organization is called Free to Teach. Let's take a look at how they're making a difference.
It's absolutely a huge blessing to have a resource like this in our area. I've got over 300 students.
Discovery Middle School band director Jenny Merritt says as a teacher,
I don't necessarily have access to, my own classroom checkbook or classroom credit card. I can come and get it and I know it's going to be there. Today I just checked out and I saved almost $700.
According to the National Education Association, on average, educators spend somewhere between $500 and $750 of their own money every year on things students need.
It's just extremely difficult when you're trying to purchase basic supplies just to make sure that everybody has them in your classroom.
Melva Tigner is a first grade teacher at Heritage Elementary, and Tigner says books are very important for her first graders who are further developing their reading skills.
I've been trying to change up my read alouds. We usually do Magic Tree House, but a lot of the kids can read those by the end, so I was looking for some new chapter books so we can kind of change it up this year.
Free to Teach Executive Director Allison Kling also says this experience goes beyond the classroom.
There's inspirational items, we've got lesson kits, we work with our community members. Raytheon had a solar kit program that they built for our teachers to take. We have a feminine hygiene program for teachers to take what a girl would need. It's really exciting.
In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Some of our favorite memories from high school are from senior prom. I would agree. Our Gabe Glassman is with us in the studio to tell us about a local teenager who dressed up to make sure it was a night he never forget.
Yeah, thanks, Kenesha. Now, I never really had prom. I graduated high school in 2020 when COVID basically shut down the world. But I always thought, what would my tux look like? Would it be blue or black? And what color tie would I pair it with? Never did I think about going rogue like dozens of kids across the country, including one from right here in the Tennessee Valley, and make my own from scratch using duct tape.
I first heard it through a teacher of mine who was kind of really amping different scholarship opportunities.
It's the 24th year of the Stuck at Prom Scholarship Contest, a chance for teenagers to make their prom tuxes and dresses out of duct tape. This year, Decatur resident Aiden Flanagan is in the running for the grand prize, a $15,000 scholarship.
One of the things she mentioned offhand was a duct tape scholarship. I kind of saw this opportunity and really wanted to go for it.
But he has some tough competition. These are the other 4 male finalists: Josie, Mario, Isaac, and Finn.
I think if it was like anonymous voting, I feel like there were like 3 of us who like had a really good chance.
Each tux and dress is made from inspiration. Take Monica, for example. Her inspiration is the artist Romero Brito. But for Aiden?
Growing up around Huntsville, I mean, have the Space and Rocket Center. I mean, like, you're always surrounded by these types of things. I wanted, that to be kind of the identity that people see me as, is kind of space and the place I grew up.
And let's not forget the time and effort it takes for these to be created. Have a look at Victoria. She went through 80 rolls of tape to make the dress, and it took 161 hours. So what's the case for Aiden?
It was like 90, 92, 94 hours, something around that range.
It was about making a bigger effort to set himself apart from the competition.
You can do 98% of the work and it'll look great, but it's that last 2% that makes or breaks anything. I might as well just go the extra mile and do it to the best of my abilities.
And when it came time for the big day,
the prom was more me talking about the suit than it was, going to an actual prom. I hadn't shown any pictures. That was one of the things I was trying to keep there. I was like, it's going to be a surprise and I want everyone to really enjoy it.
Hey everyone, following Huntsville City FC's midweek game in Massachusetts, head coach Christoph Barra will be heading to the exit. Nick Kuzma has the latest on the local boys in blue.
It's no secret that the 2024 Huntsville City FC season has seen a lot more downs than ups. And on Friday, we got a new twist. Interim head coach Christoph Barra will depart from the club following HCFC's match versus New England Revolution 2 on Wednesday. Therefore, the club will need its 3rd leader in the same calendar year.
Yeah, it was a hard decision. I really enjoyed my time here. Huntsville and Alabama have been very welcoming. Everyone's really friendly. However, my wife, just as I moved over here, my wife was pregnant, and it's getting to that kind of stage now that we feel it's better for us to go home.
The Christoph Berra interim era began on April 9th following the firing of Jack Collison. HCFC won just 2 of its 13 matches, picking up 8 total points in the standings with him at the helm. The club sits in dead last place in the league. Still, despite the record, Berra tells us about the goals he feels like were met during his time in the Rocket City.
I think we've seen moments in games and in periods in games that we've seen what we work on daily. Our training has been consistent, and don't get me wrong, it has been tough at times. That's normal, but unless you're one of the elite teams in the world, there's going to be ups and downs. And I think I said to coaching staff that looking back in 10 years' time or 1 year's time, I'll look back and it would be a great experience. I would have learned from it, and I'll be a better person for it and a better coach.
So what's going to happen moving forward? Well, Huntsville City still has 12 more matches to play after Berra leaves. HCFC Director of Soccer Operations Matt Cairns says there will not be another interim head coach of the club, but assistant Zach Harold will, quote, lead things on the sideline as a coaching search is conducted.
We're going to go through the full process now to hire the next permanent head coach of Huntsville City FC. So it'll be a very thorough process. We're not going to panic sign someone. There's no strict timeline on we have to have someone by the end of the week or the end of next week. It's making sure the process is correct and get the right person in the role and have them there for years to come.
The final match of the Christoph Berra interim era kicks off from Foxborough, Massachusetts on Wednesday at 10 a.m. In Huntsville, I'm Nick Kuzma, Fox 54 Sports.
We've seen a flood of trouble with water main breaks here in Huntsville recently, but as our Gabe Glassman explains, it's caused by several different reasons, weather being one of them. Here's a listen.
Huntsville Utilities recently responded to 2 water main breaks in the area, one affecting service near Airport Road between Memorial Parkway and Whitesburg Drive, another along Hobbs Island and around Ditto Landing. Huntsville Utilities says the city has more than 1,000 miles of water mains, with more than 24,000 gallons per minute pumped daily.
Anything can cause a water main to break. That is why our Huntsville Utilities water crews are on standby, ready to go 24/7 to respond anytime we have an issue with water.
Water Finance and Management says around 260,000 water main breaks happen annually in the U.S. and Canada.
We are also pumping a large volume of water during this season.
Huntsville Utilities officials say it could have something to do with people enjoying the summer sun.
This time of the year, people are watering grass, enjoying outdoor activities, outdoor recreation, having fun with water, and using water.
The United States Environmental Protection Agency says outdoor water use accounts for almost 8 billion gallons of water every day, more than what households are using for showers and washing clothes combined. Officials say pipes can also be affected from the heat.
This time of the year, as the weather changes, sometimes the ground will shift and disturb pipe and will cause water mains to possibly break. Heat impacts the ground and can cause the ground to shift, therefore the pipe to shift. That could lead to a break as well.
Short Elliott Henderson says water main breaks can also be caused by pipe age, pressure changes, construction, and other reasons. In Huntsville, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
We've seen the reports of missing people in North Alabama. It's a family's worst nightmare. What should they do? Who should they call? Our Jasmine Bird reached out to local law enforcement and has some answers.
Once an individual is confirmed missing, we will receive a call through our 911 dispatch center, and we will generate a missing persons report.
Soon after that report is made, it's assigned to a detective
who will use every available means that he has to find information out on this person.
Madison County Sheriff Public Information Officer Brent Patterson says Aaliyah helps distribute the information through the NCIC.
National Crime Information Center. That's in Montgomery, and that is a law enforcement database that we utilize, and it's a really good way to get information to different places at different times.
Athens Police Department Detective Lieutenant Jonathan Caldwell says a common misconception is that you have to wait 24 hours to report someone missing.
Waiting 24 hours, especially if it's a missing, person with dementia or something like that, they can travel a lot of distance within 24 hours, and it make it even harder for us to find them.
Another key thing to keep in mind is staying where you last saw the missing individual.
If they left the residence, you need someone to stay at that house the entire time. Yes, people need to be out looking, but we need someone to stay there the entire time, because there are several times that they do come back. And if they come back and nobody's there, then they might leave.
And most importantly,
if you know something, say something. That's my favorite term.
In Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Back here in Huntsville, a new Major General taking the lead at Redstone Arsenal. It was a change of command today, honoring both the outgoing and new incoming Major Generals. Our Jasmine Bird takes us to the ceremony.
It's a bittersweet moment for Redstone Arsenal's U.S. Army Aviation and Missile Command hosting a change of command ceremony earlier today.
Effective 10 July 2024, signed Lori Robinson, Major General, U.S. Army, commanding.
Incoming Major General Lori Robinson has made it to the Rocket City and says she's ready and willing to take on her new position in full force.
Honestly, I'm just excited to be joining this great team of professionals here at AMCOM. Throughout my entire career, I have always been on the receiving end of everything that they have done for units across the Army and the world. And so to now be a part of this great organization is truly humbling, and I'm honored to do it.
Major General Lori Robinson succeeds outgoing Major General Thomas O'Connor, who assumed command in August of 2022.
Major General Tom O'Connor is one of my best and oldest friends in the Army. We were classmates together at West Point and have served for the last 30 years together. He's a phenomenal leader, so I just hope to keep the momentum going for all the great things he's done here at AMCOM already.
Now, currently, over 15,000 soldiers, civilians, and contractors work for AMCOM, and Major General Robinson says she's definitely looking forward to this new experience. For now, in Huntsville, Jasmine Bird, Fox 54 News.
Huntsville High School has several reasons to celebrate this summer. The results are in, and the school announced students broke a record for the highest number of qualifying scores for AP exams in its school history, the total of 437. The school says they set another record of a 59% pass rate. Congratulations are certainly in order. Here's a listen to the principal.
Yeah, we offer 19 different AP courses here. And so that number comes from 19 courses. I think it just reflects the hard work of our teachers and the hard work of our students. We kind of have a culture here of high expectations and pushing yourself. So, our students challenge themselves. They're not just only involved in academics, they're maybe involved in fine arts, they're involved in athletics. So they do a multitude of different things.
In Huntsville, ahead of tomorrow's city council meeting, a certain portion won't be streamed on the city's website, and it's becoming controversial. Our Gabe Glassman has more.
I'd like to welcome everybody that's here and those that are watching online. We'll now call this meeting to order.
Huntsville City Council will be holding their monthly meeting Thursday, July 11th, but the non-agenda public comment section will not be shown on the city's live stream.
Possibly this is something there might be some further discussion about at Thursday night's meeting.
As a result of Fox 54's investigation, this is something we have found to be a move by Council President David Little, which may have not been communicated with other council members until after it was done.
It's under the purview of the president of the council because the bylaws say the president of the council sets the agenda.
We spoke to council members Bill Kling of District 4 and John Meredith of District 5, both of which tell Fox 54 the public deserve to be heard. Meredith says, and quote, "I think it's a travesty. I think that the citizens of Huntsville deserve better, and I think that people need to have their voices heard," end quote. Meredith also says, quote, "It's one of the hallmarks of my representation is making sure that my constituents' voices are heard," end quote.
As part of being a city council member on a pretty good city council, we like to be transparent and being open with the community.
And it's not just city officials who are against the move.
Public discourse is an important part of democracy. For those people who are not able to attend the city council meetings in person, they're going to be deprived of an important part of the discourse.
David Person says residents like himself not only deserve to be heard, but also deserve to hear from elected officials.
I think what we should be striving for at all levels of government is transparency and accountability, complete and total.
We work for members of the public. That's what we're there for. Politicians seem to be kind of isolated except when it was election time. So personally, I like to be available and accessible all the time.
Not airing the public comment section for those who are not able to attend the city council meetings shortchanges the public.
The City Council held its meeting tonight, and our Gabe Glassman was there and joins us live in the studio. Gabe, you're following up on a report we had from yesterday. What can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, Kanisha. The City Council hosted their monthly meeting tonight at City Hall downtown, and one topic was definitely brought up more than others. We shared with our viewers yesterday about the non-agenda public comment section during council meetings are not to be streamed on the city's website, and we learned it was a move made by Council President David Little. Tonight, even before the agenda was approved, Councilmember Bill Kling of District 4 brought up the subject and asked for it to go back to before how it was. After a discussion lasting a few minutes, Little decided to go on as planned. Before the meeting, we spoke with members of the public who disagree with the move.
I think it's important that we have transparency in our local government. We have a lot of folks who have different disabilities who may not be able to make it down here, people who are caring for adults or children, and they can't make it down here either, and they do watch these public comments. So it matters that we have that transparency for everyone.
You come here and you get an opportunity to speak in public, not just for the consumption of the council, but for the consumption of the public.
Now, it is important to note the non-agenda public comment section still takes place. It's just not streamed. It's also important to note city officials say the move was made to professionalize meetings a bit more. Most council members also mentioned how they're reachable by phone or email, and you do have the chance to schedule a meeting with them as well if you want to talk about something you're passionate about.
The Rocket City had some very special visitors earlier today. 2 astronauts landed at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center for a very special surprise. Apollo 16 astronaut Charlie Duke and 3-time astronaut Mike Bloomfield met with winners of the Endeavor Scholarship Program. Both astronauts are ambassadors for the program, which provides winners with an all-expenses-paid space camp experience. He and Bloomfield spoke about the importance of the scholarship program and shared some humorous stories from their time in space. Take a listen.
When we would open up the airlock, it actually smelled like a burnt metal to me. It's a very distinct smell of metal that has been exposed to very, very high temperatures over a long period of time.
Apollo was a spacecraft that had 3 astronauts, and we had to be really, really friendly because there wasn't much room in the spacecraft. And so it was very cold. You had no privacy. If you had to go to the bathroom, 2 other people just sat there and watched you.
Wow, what an experience. Duke is one of only 12 people who have walked the moon and is one of only 4 who are still alive. We can all agree medical care is important, but it may be hard to get to an emergency room, especially if you're pressed for time. Our Gabe Glassman talked with Crestwood medical officials about their new freestanding ER.
It just made sense to be able to provide that care in that community.
Crestwood Medical Center is opening up a freestanding emergency room in Harvest.
The demand for emergency care in the Huntsville market is at an all-time high right now, so being able to take that very same care that we provide here at Crestwood Medical Center today and put it in that community just made a lot of sense to us.
But there is a major reason for the new facility, and it all has to do with time.
In the event of an emergency with cardiac stroke, time is so important, and really getting our providers to care for that community that quickly is so important.
The new ER will service people in northern Alabama who have had to travel longer distances just to receive medical treatment.
Population growth in the Harvest, Tony, Bobo, the whole northwestern portion of the county and saw that there's almost 40,000 people in that community that would have to travel over 30 minutes for emergency care.
And just because it's a freestanding ER doesn't mean patients won't be receiving less than standard treatment. The 12,000 square foot area comes with 10 exam rooms, a CT scanner, and ultrasound lab.
They're the same nurses, the same respiratory therapists, the same skilled technicians that you find here at Crestwood Medical Center are providing care there. In total, we have about 40 staff members that have signed up and said, hey, we want to do what's right for this community that have started at that location. Our mission is about doing what's right for people, and anytime that we can provide care for emergency patients in their community is core to our mission here as an organization.
In Madison County, I'm Gabe Glossman, Fox 54 News.
We are taking the rest of the month of July off, but don't fret. Fox 54 Week in Review returns the weekend of August 2nd, where we'll rewind the clock for you once again. In the meantime, keep the Fox 54 News app handy for breaking news and weather impact alerts. Watch specials like our Top Teacher Yearbook recap on demand at our website and on Fox 54 Plus. For everyone here, I'm Kenesha Dees.